Love English podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Love English podcast. We are here to help you learn English in a simple, fun, and natural way. I'm your host, Leo.
And I'm Emma. It's so wonderful to be here with you all. This podcast is a safe space for you to learn, so we will speak clearly and explain everything. Leo, how was your day at work today?
It was a busy day, Emma. Lots of emails and a big meeting. And that question is a perfect start for our topic today. In our last few episodes, we learned how to make small talk about the weather and how to get to know people by talking about their hobbies and interests.
That's right. And today, we are going to talk about one of the most common questions in the English language. What do you do? This question means, what is your job? People ask this all the time when they are getting to know someone.
It's true, but this question can be a little scary for English learners. Maybe your job is hard to explain, or maybe you don't have a job right now. So today we will break it all down. We will make it easy for you.
Let's start with the question itself. What do you do is the most common way to ask, but there are other ways too. You might hear, what do you do for a living? This means the same thing. Or, a little more indirectly, what field are you in? The field is the general area of work, like medicine, technology, or education.
So how do we answer this question? Let's start with a very simple answer. Emma, what do you do?
I'm a graphic designer. That's a simple, clear answer. I state my job title. What about you, Leo?
I work in marketing. This is another kind of simple answer. I don't give my exact job title, but I say the department or the field I work in. This is very useful if your job title is very long or confusing. For example, my full title is Junior Digital Outreach Coordinator.
Oh, wow, that is a long title. I work in marketing is much easier to understand. So, the first step for our listeners is to have a simple one-sentence answer ready. I'm a teacher, I'm a student, I'm a doctor, I work in construction, I work in a restaurant.
Exactly. But a good conversation doesn't stop there. Just saying, I'm a teacher, can be a conversation killer. It makes the other person do all the work. So after your simple sentence, you should add one more piece of information.
This is a great tip. So instead of just saying, I'm a graphic designer, I should add more. For example, I'm a graphic designer. I help companies design their websites and logos. This extra sentence explains what I actually do in a simple way.
That's perfect. Now the other person understands your job better. Let's try it with my job. I work in marketing. My main job is to help promote our company's products online. To promote means to help something sell, to make it popular.
This is so helpful. So you can say your job title and then explain your main responsibility. A responsibility is your main task or duty at work. You can start that sentence with, I help people, or my job is to, or I am responsible for.
Let's do a few more examples for our listeners using common jobs. Imagine someone is a nurse. They could say, I'm a nurse. I take care of sick people in a hospital.
That's a great example. Or a mechanic. I'm a mechanic. I fix cars when they are broken. Simple words, easy to understand. Or chef. I'm a chef. I cook food in a restaurant kitchen.
Okay, so we know how to answer the basic question. Now let's talk about adding more details to make the conversation more interesting. A good thing to talk about is where you work. Emma, where do you work?
Well, I'm a freelancer. This means I work for myself. I don't have one boss. I work with many different companies on different projects. A project is a specific piece of work, like designing one website. So I would say, I'm a freelance graphic designer. I work from home and help different companies with their design projects.
That's very different from me. I work for a big technology company. So I could say, I work for a large tech company here in the city. There are about 500 people who work there. This gives the other person a picture of my workplace.
So you can talk about if your company is big or small. You can talk about if you work in an office or from home or in a hospital or outdoors. This is all interesting information. Let's talk about the people we work with. The word for the people you work with is coworkers or colleagues.
Right. I could add, I work with a great team. My coworkers are all very friendly and supportive. Supportive means they help you when you need it.
That's lovely. And what about your boss? The person who is above you. The more formal word is manager or supervisor. Boss is more informal. You could say, my manager is very experienced and I learn a lot from her.
These are all positive things. But work isn't always perfect. It's also okay to talk about the challenges or the difficult parts of your job, as long as you are polite.
That's true. For my job as a freelancer, I could say, I love the creative freedom, but sometimes it's stressful to find new clients. A client is a person or company who pays you for your work. The downside or the negative part is the stress.
And for my office job, I could say, the job is very interesting, but we have a lot of deadlines. A deadline is a specific time or date that you must finish something by. It can be very fast-paced, which means we're always busy and working quickly.
Fast-paced is a great word to describe a work environment. The opposite could be a relaxed environment. So now our listeners can describe what they do, where they work, who they work with, and what the environment is like. That's a lot of great information for a conversation.
But now let's talk about the most important part of any conversation, asking questions back. You can't just talk about yourself. You need to show interest in the other person.
This is the golden rule. So after I tell you about my job, I must ask you a question. The easiest one is, what about you? Let's do a mini role play. You ask me what I do.
So Emma, what do you do for a living?
I'm a graphic designer. I work from home and help small businesses create their logos. It's very rewarding. What about you? Rewarding means it makes you feel good and satisfied.
See, that what about you passes the conversation back to me. Now it's my turn to talk. This is how a good conversation flows. But we can ask more specific follow-up questions too.
Yes, let's say someone tells you, I'm a teacher. What are some good follow-up questions you could ask?
A great one is, oh, that's interesting. What grade do you teach? Or what subject do you teach? These questions ask for more specific details. You could also ask, how long have you been a teacher? This asks about their experience.
Another wonderful question is, what's the best part about your job? This is a very positive question, and people usually love to answer it. The teacher might say, the best part is seeing my students learn and grow. It's so fulfilling. Fulfilling is similar to rewarding. It makes you feel like your life has a purpose.
On the other hand, you could also ask, what's the most challenging part of your job? Challenging means difficult in a way that tests you. This can also lead to a very interesting conversation.
So, some great follow-up questions are, what grade or subject do you teach? How long have you been doing that? What's the best part about it? What's the most challenging part? These questions work for almost any job.
Now let's talk about some special situations. What if the person you were talking to is a student?
This is very common, especially for our listeners. If someone asks, what do you do? A student can say, I'm currently a student, or I'm studying at university name.
And the follow-up questions would be different. You could ask, oh, cool, what are you studying? Or what is your major? Your major is your main subject of study.
The student could answer, my major is economics, or I'm studying to be an engineer. Then you could ask about their future plans, like, that's great, do you enjoy it? Or what do you hope to do after you graduate?
This is a great script for students. Now for another situation that can be sensitive. What if someone doesn't have a job right now?
This can be uncomfortable for people, so it's important to be kind and positive. If you don't have a job, you can say, I'm currently between jobs. This sounds professional and positive. Or, I'm looking for a new opportunity in the tech field.
Those are excellent phrases. They sound much more confident than just, I'm unemployed. It shows you are actively looking forward. And if someone tells you this, a good supportive response would be, "Oh, I see. I hope you find something great soon. What kind of work are you looking for?"
Yes, be supportive, not judgmental. It's a normal part of life for many people. Let's put all of this together. Let's do a longer role play. We're at a party and we're meeting for the first time.
Sounds good. I'll start. "Hi, I'm Leo. It's a great party, isn't it?"
Hi, Leo. I'm Emma. Yes, it's really nice. I don't think we've met before.
"I don't think so either. So, Emma, what do you do?"
I'm a freelance graphic designer. I mostly work with small businesses to help them create their brand's identity, like logos and websites. It's very creative and interesting.
"How did you get into that field?"
Well, I've always loved art and technology, so graphic design felt like a perfect mix of the two. I studied it in college. It can be challenging to work for yourself, but I really enjoy the freedom. What about you, Leo? What do you do?
"I work for a large software company. I'm on the customer support team."
Oh, I see. So you help customers when they have problems with the software.
Exactly. My main responsibility is to answer customer questions and help them solve technical issues. Some days can be a little stressful when customers are upset, but it's very rewarding when I can help someone solve a difficult problem.
I can imagine that would be rewarding. What's the work environment like at your company? Is it a fun place to work?
It is. It's a very fast-paced environment, but my coworkers are all fantastic. We have a very supportive team, which makes a big difference. How about you? Since you work from home, do you ever miss working with other people?
That's a great question. Yes, sometimes it gets a little lonely. I try to go to coffee shops to work sometimes just to be around other people. It's the biggest downside of being a freelancer, I think.
That makes sense. Well, it was really nice to meet you, Emma, and learn about what you do.
You too, Leo. It was great chatting with you. And scene.
That was a perfect example of a natural, back-and-forth conversation about jobs. We both asked questions, we both gave details, and we were both positive and respectful.
I agree. So let's do a final recap for our wonderful listeners. First, have a simple one-sentence answer ready. Second, add a little more detail about what you do or where you work. Third, always ask questions back to show you are interested. What about you is the easiest one.
Fourth, know the right follow-up questions to ask, like, what's the best part of your job? And finally, be prepared for special situations, like talking to a student or someone who is between jobs, and always be kind.
I think if our listeners can remember these steps, they will feel so much more confident talking about their careers. It's a topic you will use for the rest of your life, so it's a great skill to practice.
Absolutely. And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us for this basic guide to talking about your job. We hope it was helpful.
We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Love English Podcast. Remember, every minute you spend learning English is an investment in your future. Keep learning and see you in the next episode.